So welcome to my part 2 video for Dunedin. The weather was going great, so I decided to head out and shoot some more infrared and try finish off this roll. I went a bit further from the house to a spot I'd spotted when driving, and again, I don't think SFX is as sensitive as Rolly, and this image, even with the clouds, didn't hit right. I walked back a little bit and decided to look at another part of the hill. Again, I don't think this film is as sensitive to infrared as the Rolly. There was a decent amount of sun, and yet the hills don't look as exposed as what they should. I then came across this horse, and I was going to take an infrared shot of it, but it moved before I could take the shot. So a friend of my partner's said they had been on this cool track that we should go check out. Whilst this view was cool, and I think the photo I took ended up being not too bad, the hike on the other hand was bad, slippery and muddy. The hike trail, which did not have any signage saying it was a hike, apart from the beginning, was not very well marked. And I'm pretty sure we ended up on private property. We ended up walking amongst the adjacent hills and found ourselves with the sheep, as in the tradition of New Zealand. Overall, I don't actually mind this shot. It laid out not too badly, though I do wish it was a little less cloudy. I don't mind this next shot with the sheep. I just wish I had been able to zoom in on them. We finally made our way back, and I decided to go for another attempt of the shot, which isn't really any better. I'm not sure if I like this shot either. It's just the muddy clouds that don't do it for me. But that's the issue when you're traveling. You don't get to choose the weather. We decided to just drive around for a little bit and just check out the peninsula. We ran into this spot with these abandoned trains, which I thought could look interesting for a nature versus man kind of photo. The light was beginning to fade and it was cloudy across the sky, so I didn't have much time to compose these shots. Through looking at them for what they are, they're not too bad. through, I'm not sure about the black and white, mainly just due to the lack of clarity around the subject versus the colour photo. We then continued along the peninsula on the way home, where once in a while the sun would peek through the clouds. We pulled over because there was a very bright shed that I thought might pop in the photos. Unfortunately for me, it did not pop, and I did not frame this photo that well. The next day, we headed over the hills, not far from our house, to go to the nearest town. This involved us driving over the mountain that we could see from our house. I was hoping to find a track to climb up, but it was all private property. It was a bit of a grey day, so we knew that we were going out not really to get any photos. Overall, there's not really anything interesting in this area apart from this old fire station that kinda looked cool. We could see a big storm heading in, so we decided to go home and hopefully get there before it really hit. But as you can see by these big clouds rolling in, that wasn't going to be the case. I decided to take a snap to show the big cloud. It's a little difficult to see because it's cloud on cloud, so it didn't really make for a good photo. So yeah, it came pissing down really strongly on the way home, but that's okay. We got home, made dinner, and watched a TV show. We then headed out the next day back up the peninsula to make our way to the Atlantic Castle, hoping not to hit anyone whilst we were driving that decided to walk along this road. Got to say that Dunedin has the best beaches in New Zealand. There were so many we were spotting on this trip that I would love to come back to during the summer or spring, because they would look amazing during sunrise. We then got to Atlantic Castle, where we're trying to use up some of my rolls, mainly of Porta 800 in the Canon 7, and the last of the SFX 200 in the Minolta. This shot would come out a lot better on a sunny day, so both the foreground and the background would have been more evenly exposed and had a closer level of brightness. But that's just how it is when travelling sometimes. You just have to shoot the best you can in the conditions that are there and make the most of it. I think for the example overall, this shot fits the moodiness of the castle. It's not a fantastic photo, but has an overall vibe to it. We decided to go for a walk around the castle first. Our logic was that it was cold outside, so best to be there first, then go inside where it's warm would be the way to. This isn't a bad shot per se, though it's not framed as well as I'd want. But considering it was freezing cold outside and it was difficult to shoot, it is what it is. This place really does have some stunning views, though like most of this trip, it would have been better if it had not been for this weather, for it was winter, so we can't expect every day to be golden. Atlantic Castle really does have a stunning little garden with lots of plants that I normally don't see, that are not typical to any form of gardens that you see here in New Zealand. We kept on walking around trying to find something interesting. we eventually did find something interesting closer to the castle. I spotted this old English-looking car sitting inside the garage. Overall, I'm not sure about the shot. I often can never frame car shots well, and I do struggle sometimes with framing with this Canon 7. We did find this red chair that looked like it was straight out of Alice in Wonderland. I'm unsure if this photo really makes it stand out, as the reds don't really pop off well on it.
That's kind of pretty.
Yeah, this photo didn't work out as well either. It could have looked pretty if it'd been on a golden sunny day. The garden is very pretty all around, and I really do like the red pathway. I just wish Porta was more vibrant, as the pathway came out super muted in colour. So, we decided to come back to the castle after walking around, and just before we went in, I decided to get this shot. I tried to balance the shot symmetrically, but I'm unsure if it's me or the viewfinder that put it off. But just before we went inside, I decided to take this photo of the chairs. Someday I'll get an awesome photo of some chairs that stand out, but it was not that day. We made our way inside, and it was definitely on the dimly lit side of lighting, but gave me a challenge to see what's the slowest shutter speed I could shoot with handheld on the Canon 7. This one came out not too bad, as the inside of the photo, i.e. the other room, was not too bright, and there's enough detail in the main room without it being distracting. And this was shot at like 1/30th, and I really can't see any blur. So it's a good test of how slow a shutter speed I can go with the Canon 7 if I need to. Yeah, some of the rooms are just way too dark to even shoot with Porta 800. But this next room was actually very bright and very beautiful. I'd love to have a house with a room like this and a view like this. So yeah, whilst we were in this room, this lady started playing the piano. This room was probably my other favourite, as I really like the red. Too bad it was too dark in the middle, cause this shot could have come out a lot better if it had been a bit brighter. Someday I'll have a photo of a toilet that I can sell, but not that day either. This mansion from this view reminds me of the X-Mansion from X-Men. Unfortunately, this was not good weather for this shot, and this was badly metered. I should have known it shouldn't have been 1,000th of a second. This room was creepy. Like, just no. There's no other way I could describe it as other than skin-crawlingly weird. The paintings and the statues creeped me out, especially the hanging one. And here's another creepy mannequin. I do like this cool family tree. I do wish I'd taken a photo of this because of the symmetry and the weird context of the guns that could have made for an interesting photo, but I had no film left by this point. So this was really cool. They had 8mm archival footage. Someday I will shoot 8mm when I can afford it. We then got some blue cheesecake. That was pretty good. And I had finished my roll of Porta 800, so I was done for the day, as I had nothing else left to shoot with. We then went home and hanged out with the cats, which we now had got pretty used to in our lives, and was not wanting to let them go, though we knew our time with them was coming shortly to an end. The next day, we finished early for the day, and we went to this big lake about 20 minutes drive from the house. The weather was not too bad. There was clouds, but it was sunny, and we got some stunning shots, which I really like that you can see the cool water slide into the water. This shot is one of my favorites. It doesn't follow the 2/3 rule and is split 50-50 instead, but it somehow works. My favorite part is you can see all the details of the birds. Usually I do not get such luck with animals, as they often move too quickly or they are in some position hiding their recognizable form. This film stock is Kodak 400 CN, and it's as good as I thought it could be. This is a black and white film stock, but it's done in color chemistry, so it has this amazing look to it. just slightly tinted, kind of black and white. The hint of colour makes it pop. My partner did get this shot, which I really like, but we really need to figure out how to expose when there are strong reflections from the water messing up the exposure. I don't often get the chance to shoot calm water, so I really tried to nail down these reflection shots, aiming to get perfect symmetry as I could. For this photo, I like the look of the swans here, but the middle is slightly too dark overall. This is a very contrasty film, but might be better if the sun is behind you. But when shooting with it, it might be better that the sun is behind you, unless you're wanting to shoot with silhouettes. The mountain on my right caught my eye, and I waited and waited to get these photos with the swans sitting perfectly. I call this photo Swan Lake. It was hard choosing at what point to take the shot, but I think I got it just right. Having the swan sit blending into the wake of the mountain stops it from being distracting and makes it more of a neat feature. Whilst I was taking the photo, my partner got the silhouette of me. She also got this next shot of the swans on the lake, which is very pretty. I also got a shot with the swans. What I do like about this shot is the swan necks rising as you look along. We then drove home and went over the hills back through Tauri Bay, where we got some expired strawberry milk. The next day was not as sunny, but we made the most of it by going out and enjoying what we could of Dunedin before we would be going home. I think this photo would have been much better in black and white. I think I can make urban street photography work. It just needs to be black and white. The next photo is of the former Dunedin prison. My dad used to be here, not as a prisoner, but as a guard when transporting them around the country. I really do like this next shot I got of Dunedin. It's very turn of the last century, and what I really like is the bird sitting on the statue's head. This was the last sign on the trip. I wish it had been a sunny day, or if I'd shot this in black and white. Likewise, I think this photo would have popped more if it was a sunny day, but I like the symmetry regardless. We went to the train station where I got this shot, which I'm very happy with, as it's an improvement over the last time I was here.
Sweet. One look down. Sorry, is it low? Yeah.
I was trying for something with the shot, but I don't think this was the right lens. This isn't a good shot, but it does prepare me for the UK next year. If there only wasn't such a distracting light leak, this shot could have worked. I was hoping for some more halation with this shot, but it didn't really happen. Same with this shot. It just didn't pop the way I wanted. Maybe with a contrasty black and white film, it could have. Yeah, I'm annoyed about this shot. It was badly ruined. I have a feeling this was due to the manufacturer, as it was made by a store up in Auckland that has a bad reputation. And it was hand-rolled from what I understand.
But
this shot never came out on my AGFA, so yeah, I also had that camera with me on my trip. But you'll have to wait for a future video to find out why I had no luck with that camera. We then went out for some Chinese before driving home to spend more time with the cats. We even watched some rainy days with the cats, and I fell asleep on the couch with them. Which meant I was not able to get up in the morning as I was weighed down. I don't know if I got a single good photo of Chin Chin. And yeah, this isn't a good photo. But this one I got of Dodo is one of my favourites that I've ever taken. I like how that, even though it's black and white, you can tell there's warmth from the sun in it. Yeah, again, not a good photo of Bao Bao, but at least you can tell he's happy. So yeah, they look sleepy right here, but earlier they were not. I think this is the closest I got to a good photo of Chin Chin. And yeah, same with this one for Bao Bao. Cats or animals in general are pretty hard to shoot. I did get a really good photo of Chocho here. It helps he has strong eyes that really pop and tell you not to wake me human. We just spent the rest of the day with the cats and packing. Later on, we picked up our host and got some kai. We then got up the next day and hanged with the cats as much as possible before getting on our flight back home. You gonna miss him, babe? So yeah, it's as I said in my last Dunedin video. Not every photo is great, but the good photos outweigh the bad, and overall, I'm really happy with the good ones. My partner's happy as well, cause now I've got some big prints of her favourite cats, and I can put them up around our apartment. Anyways, until next time, it's been real, guys. I'm gonna leave you with some more footage of the cats. How do you feel about the fact that I was sleeping there last night and he was on top, on my shoulder, all cuddled up?
I don't care.
Are you sure about that?
Mine now.
Nah, he'll come back to me. He likes people with a beard.
A beautiful young lady for old fluffy men.
Feelings hurt.
Actually, I'm